Thank you very much. Dr. Gagliardi.
Okay, here we go. My name is Dr. Lori Gallardi. I'm a registered dental assistant and a registered dental hygienist with a master's degree and a doctorate degree in education. I've been in the profession for over 36 years. I individually have attended almost all of the dental board meetings and the DAC meetings during the last 4 years. Just to follow up to a few comments, my colleague had said, if you'll notice in your sunset review report that the dental board provided on page 57, it does note that for the RDA educational pathway, the board does accept a signed and sealed verification from the school or copies of the diploma, but that's not what we found to be happening, and our students have been receiving deficiency letters and not allowed to sit for the exam. Continuing on, as outlined in our joint letter to the committee, we were deeply concerned with the manner in which the dental board has managed the dental assisting profession. We recognize that the board was forced to accept the dental assisting direct line responsibility in the wake of the elimination of the Committee on Dental Auxiliaries in 2009. COMDA served as that filter for all matters, all allied health related items, allowing the board to focus its attention on dentistry. 4 years ago, however, I was part of this process where we had the Sunset Review Committee and identified in great detail numerous ways that the board was failing our discipline. And I'm sad to say that today our profession is no better off than we were at the time. In fact, our complex issues have only compounded. We have provided you with a lot of information, mainly dental board agenda items, minutes, along with information from the professional organizations requesting agenda items and issues that need to be discussed, but have not seen things move forward at all in 4 years. Most of those came under the Dental Assisting Council and now to the dental board. From our perspective as educators, we now see every day the impact of the regulatory neglect, examination dysfunction, dismissal of very relevant issues we face, resulting in many students, preliminary young women, and those who would otherwise look to dental assisting as a lifelong profession to turn away from their education and licensure in frustration and disgust. While I wish we could spend more time enumerating all of the issues impacting dental assisting today, we respect this process and come before you to focus on 2 significant issues relating to dental board's conduct that have seriously impacted dental assisting. One is the lack of the regulatory oversight. 2 is the consistent neglect of the board and its appointed council in addressing dental assisting initiatives. We have seen a long-running persistent delay in the development, adherence, and enforcement of regulations, much of which directly relates to the education and the professional development of dental assistants. Today, many courses and programs cannot adhere to assisting regulations because of confusing and misleading content, inconsistency between statute and regulations, loss of standards, and overall enforcement failure. The lack of attention to educational regulations has been identified repeatedly as a priority to the council that has limited discussion on it, and then back to the board year after year with no results and no promulgation of regulations. Additionally, the Dental Assisting Council, which was established as a result of the last Sunset Review, is not appropriately serving in its role as a conduit to the board for all matters relating to dental assisting. In fact, it serves as nothing more than a direct reflection of the dental board with deep concern expressed by the dental assisting community in 2011 when it was established. By allowing the board to appoint the DAC, they have prevented the necessary autonomy needed to openly and fairly address the issues impacting the dental assisting community. In fact, they just reappointed all but one of the original members that were on the DAC to begin with. By their own admission, the Dental Board's Council has accomplished very little, as you can see from the information we provided with the same agenda items over and over and over. We have assembled all this material for you in hope that you will look at it We have concerns over the exam, the oversight, and the public forum. We would also like to address the issues and offer the following proposals. As outlined by my colleague with CDAA, the program accreditation process and the credentialing and testing function should be managed by a national accrediting entity and not the board. We talked about the Commission on Dental Accreditation, where the response was that the standards were not equivalent. However, there is one statement in the accreditation standards that allow for each state to propose their own regulations and specifically states that the programs must be in compliance with whatever the state statute and regulations are. So it's already included, and that information is provided for you in tab 6. Under the new direction of national testing and accrediting entities like the Dental Assisting National Boards, or CODA, clear and concise regulations can be established to ensure that all dental assisting programs and courses are consistently compliant. We must also reach to a better pathway for the DAC to ensure that the dental assisting issues can be vetted and addressed in a conductive and productive environment. Finally, we recommend also adding an additional RDA educator on the board to help deal with some of these issues as it relates to programs and courses. On behalf of the dental assisting profession, my colleagues and I look forward to working with the committee, and we appreciate your time and attention in the weeks ahead. I had one further comment as it related to the occupational analysis, and the comment was brought up also at the dental board meeting. We understand the need perhaps for the occupational analysis that will take a year, cost $60,000, but that occupational analysis will only look to see if what's being tested on is truly valid to what's going on in industry and not look at what the actual problem could be with the exam itself. So our concerns there are, again, what's going on with the exam itself. We do not have a current blueprint with details outlining for the candidate what to expect, what they're being graded on. Just a couple sentences on what those exam areas are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the testimony. And we'll take now the public comment on the hearing, and then we'll have some final comments and words related to the dental assistants. But we'll hear all the comments now, and then we'll make our final ones. Good evening. It's on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, chairs, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm Dr. Kathleen Shannell, and I am speaking today as a California licensed dentist of 34 years. Dentists and dental offices rely on licensed professionals to create highly competent dental teams. This team is necessary to provide high quality of care and infection control dental treatment to the people of California. As a licensed dentist, I'm alarmed at how the Dental Board of California and the Dental Assisting Council has inadequately addressed the dental assisting issues and demonstrated apparent disregard of the relevance of these issues to the dental community. To wait 1 year to resolve what's happening in these dental exams is not an option. Ms. Fisher mentioned that the RDA practical exam criteria is of, quote, minimal competent skills. RDAs, registered dental assistants, are supervised by their dentist. After the completion of the skills in the dental practice, that patient is reviewed by the dentist before the patient is dismissed. That would give me, as a general dentist, time to be able to do any small minor adjustments that I might feel necessary for the patient. Now, I also hear that there has been a decrease in the passing rate from 84% to 19%. This also makes me alarmed because it sounds to me that you are identifying that you have employed a dentist consultant to examine or to calibrate the examiners on this exam. And this makes me wonder, as a dentist, what are calibrated minimal competence standards that are being utilized to judge this registered dental assistant? Is this the standards of a minimally competent dentist who has 4 years of education versus a registered dental assistant who will be supervised by a dentist? And why does it take 1 year to figure this out? So from the lack of doing all of this, I am concerned that it's decreasing the number of licensed RDAs that are available in the workforce. This directly impacts the dental office to continue to provide excellent quality of care and infection control for the people of California. Thank you very much.
And the issues there, a lot has been said, please don't repeat.
Sure, I won't repeat.
If there's-
Good evening, members of the committee. I'm Kara Miyazaki, registered dental assistant, registered dental hygienist, and extended functions. I'm a program director at Foothill Community College Dental Assisting Program. And one of the things that I am opposed is the mention of abolishing the practical exam. Please remember that the licensing exam for an allied health professional, the only one that is on-the-job trained license is a dental assistant. So there is no other testing for someone who's OJT. The dentist can sign on their application that they've completed their requirements, and I've been told that by some students that their friends, their dentist signed the application after 2 months of them working, and they went and they applied for the exam. So it's really, can be something that can be questionable when there's someone who is on the job trained and then they're signed off and they take a written exam when there's no hands-on skills. The other thing I want to mention too is also that I wish the criteria for the candidate guide, I know it's been mentioned, should be clear and thorough. And the application and candidate guide for the practical exam is 3 pages for dental assisting, whereas when I looked at the rep exam for dental and dental hygiene, the dental rep exam candidate guide is 39 pages, the dental one is 86 pages. There's also a tutorial, and there's the educators forum, and the educators are also invited to the exam to observe as well. And I believe that's something that should be transparent and should be communicated to the educators. When the educators, for the rep exam, for the dental hygiene exam, there's an RDH educator who calibrates the registered dental hygienist who administer the exam. There's no dentist that calibrates the registered dental hygienist, and the dentists do not administer the exam either. It's the registered dental hygienist. And it's the same thing for the dental board exam too as well. There's not a prosthodontist who's had additional training 2 to 3 years that administer the exam and calibrate the dentists the general dentists who are scoring for the dental exam too as well. And then lastly, what I want to mention too is in December last year, I had got permission from the president of my college to offer Foothill College as the testing site, and at no charge. It was only a nominal fee for the janitorial and for the security. I've contacted the dental board, and I'm wondering why my college wasn't named as an optional testing site. We're open to any dates, and again, it was at no charge for the clinical facilities. It was only for a nominal charge for the security and for the janitorial. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that testimony. Yes, good evening, ma'am. And if you're not going to read that whole thing.
I am. No, I'm not.
Thank you. Just any new information you may have would be very
Well,
helpful.
thank you for letting me be here. My name is Eloise Reed. I've been an RDA since 1977. I've been in education and public forum since 1985, and I have been a KIP provider for the last 5 years. I am speaking on behalf of the on-the-job trained dental assistant and the RDAs, the dental assistants who are trying to get their RDA license. I have freely assisted assistants in trying to get through this licensing application process, the exam process, and obtaining their license after they've achieved all of these goals with their exams. And unfortunately, there's been an unbelievable number of calls from candidates totally frustrated and giving up on the process because of the delays and the discrepancies with the dental board. I know there are wonderful people at the dental board. I've had the pleasure of working with them. But at this point, I'm seeing a lot of candidates giving up on the process because of the delay, the inaccurate information, the inconsistent information, and just the whole process seems to be broken. I'd hate to see the practical exam go away because I do believe It's the only opportunity for a lot of the on-the-job trained dental assistants to become registered dental assistants, and I am very concerned for public safety. As you have mentioned, a lot of dentists are supervising their dental assistants, but some of these dentists are in trouble. So that does worry me that if we lose that exam, how can a candidate prove their competency, earn that degree, be confident in what they're doing, and know that they're doing something right? That changed my life when I became an RDA. Having earned that license from an unbiased third party, it turned my life around, and I'd like to continue helping these dental assistants achieve that goal. Right now, the dental assistants are not being allowed to fulfill that promise of a future in dental assisting. So I'm hoping that the dental board can conform and develop a clear criteria with transparency and communication with educators and dental assistants. I'd be happy to help in that process. I've been doing this, as I said, helping dental assistants freely for the last 15 years. I'd love to help the dental board do this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Puskas. I recently took the RDA practical examination in February. It was on February 7th, 2015 at 3 p.m. at UCSF in San Francisco. I had an experience, witnessed a very distracting incident during my exam by two proctors that were just standing approximately 3 to 5 feet away from me. They were having a non-test related discussion for about 30 minutes during my exam time. The subject of their discussion was how much their hotel room cost for the evening, where they were going to have dinner that night, how hot it was in the room. It was very distracting, and it was hard to focus on my tasks at hand. I did let the dental board representatives know this during a question and answer session that was conducted immediately following my exam. I told them about the discussion, the subject that they were talking about, and I said, I don't want this to happen to the people that are taking the test on Sunday, February 8th. I was assured that it would be addressed, and it was not. It happened again to another candidate at 3 p.m. on Sunday. There were also inconsistencies I've noticed in taking this exam in regards to the way that it's being implemented. We're allowed 90 minutes to perform the 3 tasks that we are expected to perform for licensure. In August, they were able to set up their instruments beforehand. In November, they were able to put in the number 8 tooth into the typodont before the exam started. And in February, we were expected to perform all of the tasks within the 90-minute period. For the actual curriculum, there is a 2 or 3 surface provisional restoration expected to be completed for the passing of this test. These 2 restorations take a different amount of time to perform, yet they do not adjust for that time. It's causing a negative impact on all of the candidates trying to pass this exam. It's just not being executed fairly or consistently, and with the non-professional conduct going on by proctors, it's creating big problems. Thank you.
Hi, Gail Matthey, California Dental Association. I appreciate the committee's time and the opportunity to comment today on the Dental Board Sunset Review. My comments are not related specifically to dental assisting, and I'll be very brief. There's just a couple things, although certainly CDA is available and interested in working across the breadth of the issues that have been identified. Of particular interest and concern to CDA is the board's work on the fee audit. We're very interested in what the board will be doing with that. And in light of the fact that there's been significant increases in the renewal fees recently, we're really interested in seeing a transparent process related to the board's financial condition and a thorough and clear process on establishing fees moving forward. And certainly with all the information about Breeze earlier today, that concern is absolutely heightened. And we would strongly urge the legislature and DCA to work together to find ways to fund and finalize that project without it falling to boards and certainly to licensure fees. So there's that. And then also want to thank the committee for your recommendation to consider extending the misconduct exemption in Business and Professions Code 726 to dentists who provide dental care to their spouses or equivalent domestic partners. This is something that the legislature has provided to the physicians and surgeons for more than 20 years, and clearly it's, from our point of view, a technical fix. So with that, thank you again, and we, as I said, remain ready to help in whenever way we can. Thank you.
Catherine Austin Scott with Capital Partners representing ADEX, the dental board examiners. I just wanted to thank the staff and the board for recognizing the option and looking into an alternative for the dental exam, the exam for dentists. We look forward to working with the board, and I just really wanted to be brief and thank you for the effort on that, and we look forward to seeing you in the future on the issue. Thank you.
Public. Very good, thank you. Ms. Wallace, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked earlier, and that was the issues that have been raised by the California Association of Dental Assisting Teachers, California Dental Association, Dental Assistants Association, the Foundation of Allied Dental Education. And you indicated in your previous answer that you have been working with them to address the issues. It seems that that's not what we've heard in the testimony over the last 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
I've had a close working relationship with the California Association of Dental Assisting Teachers. I've personally worked closely with Lori Gallardi and LaDonna Drury-Klein. Claudia Pohl, CDAA, has not been actively participating during our meetings, and I have not been in contact with CDAA. CDA KDAT has been the primary stakeholder who we communicate through with educator issues, and that's who we've been working with for the last 4 years.
I guess to me, what it seems just as an observation from the reading and what I've heard is that there seems to be a lack of attention to the concerns raised, the educational challenges with locations, with testing, and certainly the failure rate and the issues that certainly Assemblymember Bonilla raised. I mean, that's what it appears to me. There's a lack of attention to the details, whether the board is more interested in dental issues with the dental the doctor issues, the dentist issues, rather than the assistants and the hygienists and allied parts of the profession. So I would hope, and what I would like to suggest is that by the end of this year, if you could report back to us on the progress that has been made on a number of these fronts, whether it's the schools, the education, the ability, whether it's regards to the proctors and the conversations that they're happening. Somebody managing and overseeing those and that procedure and that process would be helpful. So if we could get some type of report back by the end of the year, it'd be very helpful. Absolutely. For us to evaluate that and move forward. So, other comments before us? Ms. Bonilla.
I think that I agree with everything you said. I'm still really concerned about these low test results, and I'm very concerned that it could take months or a year or more to address the problem. I just urge you to either suspend your new calibration and go back to the old one, because clearly something is terribly wrong, and is it the calibration or what? We don't know. I just don't believe it's right to let particularly, the many women who are trying to get into this profession to pay the price for something that we're going to have to fix. We know there's something wrong. We have to fix it. I would implore you to fix it for them and to fix it quickly. And I'm not talking about jeopardizing any standards. I'm saying something happened. There's this, huge drop. Go back to the way it was while you're completing your study, or do something. I just think it's really important. I just can't imagine that we'd go through another full year of this kind of failure rate. It's really concerning, and it risks disrupting this profession. Who's going to sign up and go to school if this is what there is awaiting them? So, the consequences are great, and we have schools, we have instructors, we have dentists who need these people with their licenses. We have all of the licensees. So you must address this, is my opinion. So
Good opinion. I agree. Very good. Did you, Dr. Wood?
I did finally remember what I was going to ask before,
good,
so
good.
sorry, couldn't help myself. So when you're talking about the calibration of the exam, so the people calibrating, is it a practicing dentist? Is it a practicing dental assistant? Are they actively clinically practicing, or are they academics or?
We currently have 3 dentists that are working with the RDA examiners. They have been dental board examiners in the past and currently are working as working dentists.
And the RDA examiners are practicing dental assistants?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you. Further comments, questions? Pardon me?
And floss.
Don't forget to brush and floss. Floss, yeah. Thank you. Don't forget to floss. Very good. We've completed the dental board and our sunset review for this year. And thank you all for being here and participating this evening. Appreciate it. And again, thank you for your patience today. And we will look forward to the report back and see the progress on the issues that we raised. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.